Year 2, Lesson 3.3, Alignment and Misalignment in Dilemmas. So this lesson relates to the larger unit learning goal that students will be learning how to analyze real-world dilemma situations using various lenses to determine central conflicts and possible solutions. Specifically in this lesson, they're going to start using the lens of alignment and misalignment in dilemmas so that they can analyze situations accordingly. As an educator, for your assessment, you can observe the small group role playing for active discussion and appropriate perspective taking. You are also going to be monitoring the larger class discussion to see where their understanding is of both alignment and misalignment in relation to the specific dilemma scenario that they're talking about. And you can also analyze the exit tickets for the application of alignment and misalignment to a real-world environment. The CASTLE alignment for this lesson is responsible decision making and collaborative problem solving. For their portfolios, students will be making sure to keep the Year 2 Lesson 3.3 exit ticket. And as a resource, they're going to need access to this dilemma right here, appropriation of identity. There are no prerequisites specifically for this lesson. As always, we have our optional refresher. You can remind the students that in the last class, you discussed different types of responsibilities and the live rings of responsibility that they created in relation to the dilemma and the character and their decision making that you talked about in the last class. And today, you're not going to be using responsibilities, but the other lens of alignment and misalignment to help think about decisions that we all make when we're facing difficult dilemmas. Okay, so at the start of this lesson, you're going to be providing each student with a copy of the Appropriation of Identity Dilemma. And just as a reminder, we always have a short summary version at the top of the dilemma as well as a video version of the dilemma in case you'd rather use one of those to break up the class so that it's not too writing heavy, not too reading heavy, and that it's appropriate for your students, and you can use whichever one you think is right for your class. After students are able to review the dilemma, you're going to divide the class into groups of 4 to 6 students, and each person in the group is going to be assigned a part to play from the list below. There's more roles available here in this list of Sophia, Jenny's husband, the customers, etc., than there are students in the group, and that's done intentionally so that not every group has the same exact roles represented. And then you're going to allow the students to discuss and debate the dilemma with one another from the perspective of their assigned part in relation to what's going on. And they can consider the values, responsibilities, roles, and who is affected and how when they're going through these discussions. You might want to take a moment also to remind the students of the definitions for alignment and misalignment that were introduced in year 1 of the lesson plan. So alignment means that the various people in an organization or workplace, even you could say in a field such as like journalism or medicine, that they share the same goals as one another and they have similar views of what constitutes success. So aligned people have common understandings of excellence, ethical behavior, and what engages them in their work. This makes it doesn't guarantee that they're going to be able to do good work, but it makes it a lot easier to do good work with one another because they're all working towards what they share as the same goal. It just makes it more likely that there'll be quality work and that they'll enjoy what they're doing. Whereas when you're dealing with misalignment within a workplace or a field, various people don't share similar goals or views about what their work should achieve. So this could be due to differences of opinion. It could be due to different underlying structural issues, funding issues, what constituencies different people within the organization feel that they're most responsible to. It can be it's not impossible to do good work when there's misalignment involved, but it makes it a lot harder for that to happen. So explaining this to students is a really helpful way to frame everything for them. And then you can have students discuss in their groups when they felt that their characters or their assigned roles were aligned regarding what Jenny and Sophia should do, and then where they might be misaligned regarding what could happen. Thereafter, it'd be smart to bring the class together and have a larger class discussion. And you can focus on some of the following questions. What did you notice in your role play? Where were there areas of alignment? Where were there areas of misalignment? You might hear different things from different groups because remember there were different roles that each group might have. Like there was a different composition for each group. You might ask them what ways their groups felt the situation could end and what questions they might be left with. Make sure that multiple role play parts contribute to the class discussion. So you don't want to just hear from everybody who played Jenny or everybody who played Sophia. You want to hear from a variety of different perspectives, people who are taking on a variety of different perspectives related to the dilemma. And you can use statements from the narrative, from the dilemma, as evidence to support their answers. You can also highlight group thoughts about areas of alignment and misalignment. So if a lot of different groups are coming up with some of the same things, you can mention that and bring attention to it. You should ask students to look at the information in totality after that discussion and think about what they think Sophia should do. It could be that she asked Jenny not to call her store Latina owned. It could be to tell other friends about Jenny's framing of the store, or any other alternative choices that students might come up with. They might have their own different creative avenues for how they think Sophia should behave in this situation. You can ask for a few points of justification throughout this, again, asking them to refer back to the narrative and show where they're getting this decision from. And students should know that this is like all of our dilemmas here at the Good Project. This is a real situation that really happened. There is no perfect right or wrong answer. Nobody's really winning in this situation. It's just how to come to the best possible and what might the best possible solution be. Finally, at the end of class, you'll have students complete the Year 2 Lesson 3.3 exit ticket. And in this exit ticket, students will ask to be, how do you know if the people in a workplace are in alignment with one another? What can you look for? What are some of the things that they might be looking at to see if places are in alignment? And what might come up as a red flag or an indication that people in a workplace are misaligned or not on the same page with one another in regards to what the goal should be, what ethical behavior is, who they're serving in their work. And students should always be sure to keep those exit tickets for their portfolio.